on the back of the handout is the teen power and control wheel. And I know that we're not teens in here, but a lot of this applies to dating relationships. So dating violence is any sort of pattern of abusive behavior from one partner to another. And it doesn't just have to be physical. There can be emotional, verbal, financial abuse, right? There's all different kinds of abuse that can happen in a dating relationship. And again, it's about that power and control. It's about someone having power over their partner. When we talk about dating violence, there's a cycle that goes along with it. It's called the cycle of violence. And it starts with something called a honeymoon phase. So the honeymoon phase is the sort of initial stages of a relationship. And that's when you just start dating someone, you're going out with them, everything's great, everything's, you're cutesy and going out to dinner, and just, it's fantastic. And that stage lasts for a little while, and then it moves on to something called the tension building phase. And that's when you start to see things that are on this wheel, right? That's when you start to see things like harassment, right? Showing up to where your partner is uninvited. You might start to see there's a lot of digital abuse that goes on, especially now that Facebook and Twitter are just everywhere. I see that you checked in or you four-squared at Starbucks with John. Why were you with John? I told you can't see him. Or, the girl taking the boyfriend's phone or the girlfriend's phone and flipping through the contacts and flipping through the text messages and the call history and saying, how come she called you 8 times yesterday? Or how come you were talking to her in the first place? So using, kind of taking over that privacy, we start to see things like isolation, right? So you spent 2 days with your friends, and I have the rest of the week with you, no questions asked. This is my time with you, and I don't want you to, talk back to me about that. So I would encourage you to sort of read through all this. I don't want to go through every little one of them right now, but there's a lot of different things on here: intimidation, blaming, threatening, sexual coercion, isolation, peer pressure, and any sort of emotional abuse that happens as well. And those are the red flags that you want to really sort of commit to memory, right? Because if you're in that dating relationship, these are going to start to come up very slowly. This is the kind of stuff that you don't see when you first start dating someone, right? No one goes into a relationship fist swinging and, screaming at their partner. This is stuff that starts to come up after a little while and gets worse and worse as time goes on. So once you start to see any of these things, it should be a little red flag, and you should say to yourself, is this the kind of relationship that I want to be in?